All right. It is 7 o'clock. It is Sunday. It's an amazing Sunday. It's the best Sunday. It's one of the best Sundays ever because Miss Caroline, if you want to unmute yourself, wait a minute. Before you unmute yourself, give me 2 more seconds. All right. Now you can unmute yourself, Miss Caroline, and go ahead and
I-
tell the people.
I'm listening.
No, no, you don't have to listen. I need you to tell it and then I'll celebrate it. You have to say
I
it.
finally passed, Candace. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy
Yeah.
for you. Oh my
Yay.
goodness. Yay. I was when I got your email, I got it pretty late when you saw it replied because we had my family's 90th. My aunt turned 90 this weekend. So it was a lot. And it just made my whole weekend as I was planning. I am so friggin' proud of you. You have no idea. And you know what you have been waiting so long. So let me play it right now.
Good
Yeah.
job, good job. Good
Good
job,
job,
good
good
job.
job.
T-double-O-D-J-O-B.
Good
Good
job,
job, good
good
job.
job. Hey. And
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
we're gonna do it twice because I'm just so proud of you.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
All right. Now, I know that especially on Sundays, not a lot of people are here right at 7 when we start, but I know they're going to come on later and I know they watch these later. So, Caroline, even though it's just me, you, and Stacy right now, maybe there's somebody out there in Zoom land. But for the record, what advice do you have? Like, what did you feel? What do you want to tell people? Anything you want to share, any advice you want to give? How did you feel? Like, just tell it anything. Share it so that people can hear about it when they're ready.
Okay. When I took the test, at the very beginning, I was panicking. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know any of these. And then I heard your voice in my head saying, sit back and start going through the questions and eliminating them. And so I did that and I'm like, oh, that's the answer. And so I did that through the whole test and I started calming myself down and I'm like, oh, I know a lot of these questions. And I'm like, I know I'm going to pass this test. I know I am because as soon as I got to 100, I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. I'm almost done. So I'm just
Ah,
so excited.
girl,
But yeah, a lot of vocabulary in there. A lot. If you know where to put your vocabulary, then that's you'll pass it.
I am so friggin' proud of you. And I'm so glad. I mean, I'm sorry it has to be my voice in your head, but the fact that you were able to, like, if we were a kid or something, like, you were able to self-soothe yourself into just calming down and realizing you do know this stuff. And you
Yeah,
did it,
it
you
is
released it.
crazy.
I love that. I absolutely love that for you. So what are you gonna do? What now? Do you want to, how can I help you? What do you need from me to help you now?
I really don't know where to go from here, except for I know I have to put an application in for my license
Okay.
and get fingerprinted. But
Yay.
I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do now. I passed. What's
Well,
my
once you do all, I mean, you are always welcome to come here and just if you want to, whatever. But once you get started and you've picked a broker, then my gift to you is we're going to plan some time just on the house and I want to sit down with you and I want to help you. You can't just start a business, or what I'll tell people, and this is for anybody watching once you pass. You would never expect if Caroline said, I'm going to open up a bakery and I'm going to start business, that you would expect her to go into this business and a month later be successful and open and running and everything like that. It takes planning. And then if she were to try to open that bakery and she didn't make plans and she didn't have a marketing plan and she hadn't thought about what's on the menu and what does this look like and what does she need and all of those things, there's no way the bakery would survive. The same thing here. So Miss Caroline, you know what, maybe I'll even, if your permission, I can record it for people if they want to see it, but I want to make sure that I help you. I mean, you have worked so hard. The very least I can do is make sure that as you get started on your path, you know how to, you know what you're doing. You know what you have a plan to get started. So,
Yes, thank you, Candace. I appreciate everything you've done for me through the years. It's been a lot of
no,
years, but I finally did it. I'm
well, you know
just,
what? And you probably could have done it earlier. You really could have. But I mean, I'm glad it happened when it happened. And now you know when you get out in the real world, you know this stuff. But it's been a pleasure working with you. I've loved it. And thank you for supporting me when I left Prep Agent and I came and I'm doing this. You have been there. So I know that you have put all of the effort in and you just had to be ready. You just had to have faith. And I'm just so proud to be part of your journey.
I will come in periodically and say, hey, what's up, everybody?
Yes. Oh, please do. Please do. You are always welcome. I mean, and I actually have people. I know some people don't watch, like I said, they don't come at 7, like you mean you're here all the time. You and Stacy are here. I've got other people that show up, but I know they listen and people will email me. So you're asking questions and you being here, you've helped a lot of people along the way. So I hope you are very, very proud of yourself.
Thank you, I am. And Miss
Yay.
Stacy, you're next.
Yes, Miss
Gonna be
Stacy, you are next. I'll be doing the same thing for you soon.
That
Yay.
is, you're right. Tomorrow is my test.
I know, I know. It's gonna be like you're gonna have to email me and tell me either way. So on Wednesday, you'll come. It'll be awesome. I'm so proud of both of you. I really am.
Yeah.
And Caroline, Caroline, both of you, you've worked so hard at this. And of course, there's no pressure. If you had told me you hadn't passed, I would be like, okay, we'll hit it again. But you did as I suspected. And Stacy, I have a feeling I'll be saying the same thing to you on Wednesday. But I'm proud of y'all. You worked the questions and you're good. All right. We're going to do these questions. Caroline, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to go if you like. I'm just going to hit it. And of course, like I said, you need anything, I am here always for you. All right. Having said that,
awesome.
oh, go. You're so very welcome. Let's get to it. Stacy, I don't know how many people on YouTube, so it'll be just you and me for a while. But, people do watch. I get the notifications. People do watch even after this. So that's okay. All right, question number 27. This is where we left off. These are the questions I've made on AI. Were you going to say something else, Caroline?
No, I didn't even realize. I thought I took me off speaker. I'm trying to get my chat going.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
you're good. No, you're fine. I just want to, you can always say whatever you like. All right, under the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA, within how many business days must a loan estimate be provided to a mortgage applicant? Is it 1 business day, 3 business days, 5 business days, or 7 business days? I feel like, didn't we do this? I don't know, but we're going to answer it again. And you got it exactly right, Miss Stacy. The answer is B, 3 business days. And we know that as you all are studying for this test, knowing your numbers, making a list of all those numbers that are important to you, that's how you stay unconfused. We know 3 business days. Love it. All right, question number 28. Which of the following most accurately describes steering under fair housing law? Which of the following most accurately describes steering under fair housing law? Is it A, charging different rental deposits to tenants based on their income level? B, directing prospective buyers or renters toward or away from certain neighborhoods based on their protected class? C, refusing to advertise properties in publications read primarily by a particular ethnic group? Or D, setting different qualification standards for mortgage applicants of different races? Well, first, I'd like to say, in general, once you all get your license, don't do any of these things. All of these sound like bad ideas. But the one that sounds like it is actually the definition of steering is going to be B, directing prospective buyers or renters toward or away from certain neighborhoods based on their protected class, because we know steering has to do with buyers. And if it was sellers, then that would be blockbusting. And as Caroline said, when you're taking this test so that you too can pass, we know knowing our vocab is everything. So I love that. All right. Number 29. A property owner conveys a fee simple estate to a grantee so long as the property is used as a park, If the property ceases to be used as a park, the title automatically reverts to the grantor. This is it A, fee simple subject to a condition subsequent, B, fee simple determinable, C, life estate, or D, fee simple life estate. Well, I happen to love the estate stuff, but let's do a little review because I think it's been a while since we've talked about estate, so let's review some of it. We know, but by definition, the word estate means you have the right to live there. And all of these that they've got listed here are freehold estates, which means there's some type of ownership. I could have, made that into one word. Let's see there. I can do that better. That means ownership. There we go. So I can definitely rule out D because we know fee simple absolute. That absolute means you would own it forever unless you choose to give it away, unless you do something and it gets lost. If somebody gives you fee simple absolute, it's yours forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We know the word fee means inheritable. So fee simple absolute is what the majority of us will deal with 99% of the time when it comes to, this so-and-so wants to buy and this other person wants to sell it to them. That's what you'll get. There's no any special don't do this or you have to do that or extra hoops to jump through. That is basic ownership transfer. Well, I can also eliminate C, life estate. Why? Because we know a life estate is based on a lifetime. And whose lifetime? The new owners. So you can have it, let's say new owner can have it as long as new owner is alive. And that's not the situation this is setting up. Which means we've got two answers here, A or B, a fee simple subject to a condition subsequent, or B, a fee simple determinable. Well, both of those are what we call defeasible estates. And sometimes we'll call them defeasible fee estates because they are inheritable. But you got two types. You got the conditional, otherwise known as that fee simple subject to a condition subsequent. And we have the, that's not what I meant to do. Boop. And we have our determinable. Well, whenever I think about determinable versus conditional, I think conditional, you have to go to court, right? And in the writing, it's in the writing of the deed, it'll say on the condition, something like that. It'll kind of lay out whichever. Versus determinable, you're going to usually see the word automatically. And it'll be duration language. So like, so long as, or it might be during. All right, so those are the first, like whenever I'm thinking about those two. Now to put that into plain speaking English, we know in a determinable, your original grantor, the person giving the property says, hey, you can have it as long as you don't break this rule. And if you break this rule, it automatically comes back to me. And in a condition, it's the same thing. You could have this forever, possibly, as long as you don't break the rule. But if you break the rule, you would have to go to court to get it back. Now, sometimes the question will say, hey, the deed says on the condition that, or it says, the deed says so long as. And in this particular problem, it does say so long as, and it says the title automatically reverts. So that's most definitely our determinable. And quite honestly, guys, I know this is on the test and they say, hey, you're supposed to know this and yada, yada, yada. But we are not attorneys. Chances are you in real life will never have to know the difference. What we need to know for this test is, okay, there are two different things. One automatically reverts, one the owner would have to go to court for, and the language in them is different. So our answer to this one is fee simple determinable because we've got that automatically reverts back, automatically reverts, and we have that so long as. But those estates, I know they're going to be on the test, so we love it. All right. Good, good, good. Number 30. We haven't talked about estates in a while. I feel like I haven't explained that in a while, so it was a good review. Which of the following statements about an as-is clause in a real estate contract is most accurate? Which of the following statements about an as-is clause in a real estate contract is most accurate? Is it A, it completely eliminates all disclosure obligations for the seller? B, it transfers all risk of unknown defects to the buyer and prevents any legal recourse? C, it typically does not eliminate the seller's duty to disclose known material facts. Or D, it voids any inspection contingency the buyer may have included. So we know an as-is clause, I mean, it is a thing. People do have as-is clauses, but are there any that we can be like, okay, you can have an as-is clause, but that's still not gonna, that's not the answer, right? So I would probably say the first one I would eliminate would be A. It completely eliminates all disclosure obligations for the seller? Absolutely not. And I don't know of any state where you can just not say anything, right? That's not it. It transfers all risk of unknown defects to the buyer and prevents any legal recourse. I mean, it does, but it still says all risk. I'm not sure if I like this all and any legal recourse. There's almost always some type of legal recourse somebody can take. Now, they might toss it out on its ear, but usually there's always some legal recourse. We got C, it typically does not eliminate the seller's duty to disclose known material facts. Yeah, typically I like that answer, and that is correct. Even though it has an as-is clause, most states are going to say, you can say it's as-is all you want, but you are still going to have to disclose some things if you know about it, right? And I see, Rosalinda, you said C is for cookie. Where's my thing? We got cookies going on over here.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
And then somebody gave us a carrot.
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you.
We like carrots.
And you should too. It goes crunch, crunch, crunch.
And let's just eliminate, we eliminated B. Let's eliminate D. It voids any inspection contingency the buyer may have included. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, Caroline, I know what I meant to ask, and it's not asking you for the exact questions, but were there any words or topics that you got to that you felt like we hadn't talked about? I just want to make sure. Is there anything that you think we should cover some more during these? I'm just so proud of you for passing. Anything like that that we need to make sure we cover more of?
You know, I thought that when I went in there, I would have more of the I'm trying to think. I can't think right now.
It's okay.
I'll get back with you and I'll tell you.
Yes. I mean, yes, if there's anything, but overall, you did feel like we covered most of it?
Yes, exactly.
Yay, I love that. So proud of you. So that means, Stacy, no surprises for you. No surprises for you. We love it. Okay. Let's go. Let's keep on going. Number 31.
Candace,
Yes, go for it.
your 5 hour, I'm telling you guys, do her 5 hour of vocabulary. There was a lot of stuff in there that helped me.
Oh,
Yes.
you know what? It's been a while. I might have to maybe after summer when it's not so warm because the 5 hour takes so long, redo it just because, sometimes I can explain things in a different way or something like that. But I'm glad the 5 hour helped. I am. Oops, I had a whole blank screen up there. Just so proud of you. I'm just so happy. All right, 31. A listing broker signs a listing agreement that expires on December 31st. On December 29th, the broker shows the property to a prospect. The prospect makes an offer on January 5th, which the seller accepts. Is the broker entitled to a commission? Okay, well, all these dates, let's just make a timeline because timelines help. So there's a listing agreement that expires 12/31. On December 29th, the broker shows the property. And then there's an offer on January 5th. Okay, so this is really after this, it's kind of dead in the water. There's no listing. So that's the situation. Let's see our options. So is the broker entitled to a commission? No, because the listing agreement had expired before the offer was made. B is yes, if the listing agreement contains a safety or an extender or carryover clause naming that prospect. C, yes, automatically, because the broker was the procuring cause. Or D, no, because offers must be made during the listing period to trigger, I don't know what a trigger is, but fine, during the listing period to trigger a commission. Well, we know it's not D. Anybody can put an offer on a house any gosh darn time they want to. You can't stop somebody from putting an offer in a house. You know, buyers can even put offers on houses that aren't on the market, or it could already be under contract and they could be doing like a backup offer. Hey, if something happens, then I'll buy your house. So we know it's not D. See what else we got here. Says yes automatically because the broker was the procuring cause. Well, it is true the broker was the procuring cause, but automatically? You're automatically going to get to a commission? Maybe not. The listing is over. There is no listing when that offer came in, so I don't know about automatically. Now, we know if this is an exclusive right to sell and somebody brought in an offer before it expired and it was full price and met all the terms, then yeah, we know that would be good. But yeah, I don't like C. I do like B. Yes, if the listing agreement contains a safety or extender carryover clause. Yeah, so I like that. Or it would be, our answer would be A, which we know it's not because we like B. No, because the listing agreement had expired before the offer was made. Our answer is B. Gotta love it. Yay. And look at you. I see you, Stacy, getting these answers right. It's gonna be you. All right, 32. Which of the following best describes the concept of novation in a real? Let me stop right there. Stacy, I know you're going to test tomorrow, and I forgot. I was just so excited about Miss Caroline passing. Is there anything, before I do this next question, Stacy, anything you want me to review, go over, just if it's a mini review, if there's any topic like that, and you don't have to answer this very second, I'll do the next question, but if there's anything at all you want me to cover before you go into test tomorrow, I don't care. You, whatever it is, you just let me know. Ask for it and we will stop and we will do that.
Okay, sounds good. I'll think about it.
All right. So 32, which of the following best describes the concept of novation in a real estate context? So is it A, a buyer assumes the seller's existing mortgage with the seller remaining liable? B, a buyer assumes the seller's existing mortgage with lender approval, releasing the seller from liability. C, a lender reduces the outstanding balance of a mortgage as part of a loan modification. Or D, a court order substituting a new lien for an existing one with the same priority. Right. Oh, you said the finance we did last Thursday helped a lot. Good, Miss Caroline. I'm glad. I'm glad. Maybe what I'll do is take that out, part of that recording out, and just put it on my main page as a finance review. Maybe if I'm going to make a note, because if you thought it helped, there's the reviews. When people go to review them, it just says, hey, we did our live questions. I need to say, take last was it Thursday? Tuesday, Thursday, and that's Tuesday's finance review out on main page. I need to put it on the main page. So thank you. Yes, I will definitely do that. Whoop, whoop. All right, so novation, concept of novation in a real estate context. Well, I know what it's not. I know what it's not, and it's not D. A court order substituting a new lien for an existing one with the same priority. I mean, is there an official word for that? I don't know. Hey, Alexa, is there a special vocabulary word that means a court order substituting a new lien for an existing one with the same priority? Is there an official vocabulary word for that, or just word?
That's an interesting legal concept you're asking about. The term you're looking for is equitable subrogation. It's a legal doctrine that allows a new lender to step into the priority shoes of a senior line holder when they pay off the existing lien.
All right. Thank you, Alexa. Stop listening. So we know that is equitable subrogation. Now, if I'd seen that on the test, I would have been like, what? Who? What? But it does make sense because I know subrogation from an insurance point of view. Subrogation means you're replacing, somebody's taking over somebody's rights to sue generally. And then we know equitable, like equity, having some claim to something. So it does make sense. And so we just learned a new word. I think we've seen that maybe once or twice before, but that's what, it's not D. D is equitable subrogation.
You nailed it.
Alexa, stop. Look, she's still talking. Look, they were still talking. So it's not equitable subrogation. A lender reduces the outstanding balance of a mortgage as a part of a loan modification. No. And then you've got A and B. And when you get down to these two answer choices and you're not sure, which one it is, let's look at it. The difference is the buyer assumes the seller's existing mortgage, one with the seller remaining liable, and we got one with lender approval, releasing the seller from liability. Well, we know that when we talk about contracts, novation means replacing one party for another or replacing one contract. We're replacing somebody for another. So that sounds to me like it is B, and that is our chancer. Our chancer? I'm just coming up with words, y'all. Just coming up with words because it was a late night because the Knicks won. That was not my fault. I don't like basketball, but I enjoyed watching that. So either way, a buyer assumes the seller's existing mortgage with lender approval, releasing the seller from liability. Boom. Boom. It means new. Novation means new. Yes, exactly that. Nova. It means new. Okay. Make my handwriting better there. Boom. We got it. All right. Question number 33. Which of the following is an accurate statement about stigmatized properties? So we know what stigmatized, what a stigma is. It's kind of like a rumor. Kind of like the red letter. Is that what it's called? The red letter, that old book? I don't know, but there's like a story. There's like a rumor. It's like a gossipy thing about something. So which of the following is an accurate statement about stigmatized properties? A, all states require sellers to disclose if a murder or suicide occurred in the property. No, there's that gosh darn all again. That's not true. I can say for sure in North Carolina, you don't have to. All right, how about B? A property status as stigmatized always reduces its appraised value under USPAP. Nope. We know USPAP has to do with appraisal standards. So no, just because it's got a stigma, I mean, so what, somebody died and so what, it's haunted. That doesn't necessarily affect the value. I might not want to live there, but it doesn't automatically reduce the value. Some people might pay more for that. C, disclosure requirements for stigmatized properties vary significantly by state. I like that one. And D, agents have a universal duty to volunteer information about stigmas, regardless of state law. Well, that can't be possible because agents are licensed differently, different standards by each state. We all kind of study the same material, but what you have to do and what you can't do, it can vary. It's not D, making our answer C for Caroline, who's the bomb, passing her test. She's passing her test. And next is gonna be Stacy. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Yay. Question 34. A buyer discovers after closing that the seller concealed a chronic basement flooding problem. The buyer's best legal claim is. A buyer discovers after closing that the seller concealed a chronic basement flooding problem. The buyer's best legal claim is, I say, go find them and poke out, their tires out, holes in their tire. But that's why I probably would end up in jail if they had had cell phones when I was younger. So is it A, breach of the implied warranty of habitability? Did I say B? That's A. A is breach of the implied warranty of habitability. B, fraudulent misrepresentation or fraudulent concealment. C, violation of the statute of frauds. Well, we know it's not that because statute of fraud says things has to be in writing. And D, tortious interference with the contract. It's not that either. That's when you try to steal people's clients. Tortious interference within a contract, that's you trying to steal clients, not that. So yeah, I think we know the answer is B, right? Fraudulent misrepresentation or fraudulent concealment. Whoop, whoop. Right? It's breach of the implied warranty of habitability. Hey, I hate that word habitability. It just doesn't roll off the tongue well. And no, that warranty of habitability, that has more to do with like renting. Nope, nope, nope. All right, 35. A commercial lease in which the tenant pays a base rent and a percentage of their gross sales is called. So the tenant is paying a base rent and a percentage of their gross sales is called A, a net lease, B, a gross lease, C, a percentage lease, or D, a ground lease. Well, it's not D. We know a ground lease is when somebody owns land and says, "Hey, I don't want to sell the land, but company, you can go ahead, build your building on, do whatever you want. You'll pay me rent for just the land. And then tenant, you'll pay for whatever additions, taxes, anything like that extra that you want to do." That would be a ground lease, right? And I see you all getting this right. Number 35 is C. 35 is C, percentage lease. But then, can anybody tell me what's a gross lease? If the answer is not gross lease, because the word gross is here, but that's not the answer, what is a gross lease? And we know a gross lease does relate to a net lease. They're not the same. Based on income, well, that would be the percentage, the income that you make. That would be your more like our percentage lease. Right. What we know is that when we think of net lease, I want you to think of tenant pays. So we know net is N-E-T, tenant is T-E-N. In a net lease, the tenant is paying the rent plus they are going to pay maybe for utilities. And this is usually, like it says, commercial. They're going to pay for maintenance. They're going to pay for taxes, like all that kind of extra stuff that owners have to pay for. In a net lease, the tenant is the one that pays that. And in a gross lease, the landlord or the owner pays all that stuff. So when you rent an apartment or a condo or something like that, a house, you usually have a gross lease. You don't care if your landlord's taxes just went up. That's not a you problem. You're paying base rent. But in a net lease, okay, if there's something goes up, because you can have residential ones, but if something goes up, if expenses for the owner goes up, then the owner passes through the cost of those things onto the tenant. That's why that's a net lease tenant, tenant net, and gross lease is where the landlord pays it. All right. 36, as I grab some more water. Under an adjustable rate mortgage, an ARM, the periodic cap most accurately refers to what? The periodic cap most accurately refers to A, the maximum interest rate the loan can ever reach over its lifetime. B, the maximum amount the interest rate can change at each adjustment period. C, the maximum amount the monthly payment can increase at each adjustment. Or is it D, the minimum interest rate the loan can ever fall to over its lifetime? I'll help you out. It's not D and it's not A. Those are real things in an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage, but that's not our answer choice. It's our right answer. It's not A and it's not D. So the question becomes, well, which one is it? All right, 36, you all are telling me the answer is B. And you said the maximum amount an interest rate can change at each adjustment period. Yes, 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 yes. That is exactly right. There will be something in the language, there should be, that says, hey, when your rate, well, you know what? I won't say there's always. A lot of good ARMs will say, look, your monthly payment can only increase by this much each adjustment, but it's usually a little bit higher than the interest rate. But either way, this is what the periodic cap is. We're putting a cap on that interest rate change each time. Let's do our next one. Which of the following liens is given the highest priority in virtually all states, regardless of the recording date? Which is a big fancy way in almost all states. What is the first lien paid? We don't care what else was recorded whenever. What's the first lien that gets priority? And we don't even have to answer the question choice. Look at them to go, hey, that's going to be real estate liens, real property liens, right? We're talking about real property tax liens. Those are the first lien paid. So if we can find that answer, we're good. We're golden. So a first mortgage, no. A mechanics lien, no. A real property tax lien, that's exactly what we just said. Real property tax lien, we know that's the right answer. Although we'll look at D, a judgment lien entered by the court. No. Oh, sorry. That's not our answer. It is C. C. Right. An owner of a 100-acre farm sells the mineral rights to a mining company, but retains the surface rights. The owner then decides to build a barn over the area the company intends to mine. The mining company can most likely, right? So the owner's got this mineral rights. They sell the mineral rights, and then they want to put a, I mean, that's a problem because you gave this. You can't retain the surface rights, but you gave the mining rights to a company. I mean, I can see how this will be problematic. Let's see what our answer choices are. A, do nothing because the surface owner retains all construction rights. B, seek a court injunction preventing the barn construction if it would interfere with the mineral extraction. C, demand that the surface owner pay them rent for any improvements placed over the mineral area. The mineral area. I was going to say mineral area for a second there. Or D, claim adverse possession of the surface rights after continuous mining operations. Well, we know it's not D. That's not what we're using adverse possession for. And how are you going to make somebody pay rent when they kept the rights to the surface? It's not C. So is it, should they just do nothing? Or should they seek a court injunction? And the hill I will die on is that when you go talk to a judge, you are basically tattling. You go to the judge and you go, hey, this person hit me. This person did me wrong. And then you're looking for the judge or whoever it is that you tattled to. You're looking to them to fix it. So seek a court injunction preventing the barn construction if it would interfere with the mineral extraction. That's got to be our right answer. Because if they want to just do something on the surface, the owner retained the rights to the surface. But if that is whatever they're doing stops the person with the right to mine the minerals from mining, now we've got a problem. Now we get the government involved. And by the government, I mean a judge. All right, 39. Which of the following best describes economic obsolescence in the context of appraisal? Which of the following best describes economic obsolescence in the context of appraisal? Is it A, physical deterioration of the structure due to age and deferred maintenance? Is it B, a loss in value due to design features that are outdated or no longer desirable? Is it C, a loss in value caused by negative factors external to the property, such as a nearby industrial plant? Or is it D, depreciation calculated using straight line method over the property's useful life? What say you? All right. 39. I got a C. I got a C. I got a C. And yes, that is going to be our economic obsolescence. It's negative external factors. We know that is economic obsolescence. So our answer, most indeedy, is C. And then we've got our last question for this bank. Which statement best describes the legal effect of recording a deed? C is for coffee. I miss coffee, Miss Rosalinda. I really wish I was not allergic to caffeine. We had, for my aunt's 90th birthday yesterday, we had Maggiano's cater it, and there was so much tiramisu, and it is so good. I love tiramisu, and I couldn't have any of it because of the coffee. But I digress. Which statement best describes the legal effect of recording a deed? A, recording perfects title and makes the conveyance legally effective between the grantor and grantee. B, recording provides constructive notice to the world of the grantee's interest and protects against subsequent claimants. C, recording is required for the deed to be valid, and an unrecorded deed has no legal effect. Or is it D, recording transfers the property tax liability from grantor to grantee? Well, we know it's not C. We know deeds do not have to be recorded to be valid. They don't have to be. Is it a good idea? Yes, it is a good idea, but they don't have to be. And it's not because recording. If you transfer the ownership of the property, then the tax liability is going to fall. Remember, it's a special lien. It's not special lien, a specific lien. It's going to fall with whoever owns it. That's just how it is. It's not D. And you all are telling me the answer is B, provides constructive notice to the world of the grantee's interest. Yes. And it provides protection from any future claims. Oh, that was mine. No, it wasn't. See this? I recorded it on this date. It's not yours. It's mine. I got the paperwork to prove it at the Register of Deeds. Whew. 40 questions. We got through it. It took us a couple days, a couple sessions to get through it, but we got through all of them. So, not Caroline. I was gonna say, hello, Miss Trix. Hello. I was gonna say, Miss Stacy, woman of the hour. And Trix, by the way, I just want to tell you, even though I know you're late showing the party, Miss Caroline passed her test. She passed her test. So I know, Miss Trix, you would want to say congratulations. I wanted you to know, just, because. But again, Miss Stacy, did you think of any topic that you want me to go over? Caroline said doing the finance was helpful, but is there any topic like that where I can just go over, even if it's just a vocab or what do you need in order to prepare for tomorrow?
It seems like the debits and credits, sometimes I get those mixed up, and the math always the problem.
That's okay. Well, let's go over debits and credits really quickly. And then is there any particular math question that's really you're struggling with? Well, let's do debits and credits. Oh, and Miss Caroline Trick said, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Caroline. She said, congratulations. So there you go. Yay. All right, debits and credits. So, and it is, remember, it's not just you. A lot of people get this confused. So we know debits are bad because somebody is paying. And we know credits are good because somebody is receiving. It's a shortened version of the word receiving. So do you get mixed up how to do the math, or you get mixed up with who's going to pay what?
Who's going to pay what?
All right. So there's some things I know people ask, they're going to ask you on the test all the time. So they're going to ask you about the sales price. Would a sales price, like who would be debited, who would be credited? Like, and the question you want to ask yourself is, where's the money coming from and who is the money going to? So who needs to bring the sales price to closing? Who owes that? Yep, Tricks, and she's in California, so she only had one. She asked if you took both, but in California, there's just one test. It's one of the few. California, New York. I want to say maybe Arizona too, but I don't know. So for this, the sales price, it would be a buyer debit because the buyer needs to pay the sales price and the seller needs to receive those monies. It would be a buyer debit, a seller credit. Right. You pass the state, you're taking the national when you finish the school year with your students. Woohoo, Tricks, you got this. We are excited for you too. So you might also have the earnest money deposit. This is where people get tripped up. She said, you want to move to California? We all want to move to California where the weather is beautiful. And we can just, go visit Caroline. So earnest money. This is the one that tricks people all the time. And remember when it's these problems, we're talking about the money that's exchanging hands the day of closing. Most earnest monies are initially paid when the buyer goes under contract, and then that contract you generally say, buyer, if you buy the house, you get those monies back. You buy the house, you get those monies back. So on the day of closing, it's not that the buyer owes earnest money. We know this is going to be a buyer credit. The buyer is getting the money back the day of closing. Now, it could have been the escrow agent or the attorney holding it. It could be one of the real estate agents holding the earnest monies. You just have a credit here because there's no way the seller kept the earnest money. The seller doesn't hold on to it. It goes into a trust account. So we know earnest monies will always be a buyer credit. You've got other things that like banking fees. If we were talking about like a loan origination, or if we were talking about points, or anything like that, that would be a buyer debit because why would the seller pay for the buyer's loan stuff? If there's some wording in the problem that says, oh, seller will pay some closing costs, well, that's different. But in general, if it doesn't say anything, then those banking fees are going to be the buyer's problem. Now, you also know that when you do these, almost there to get to get Momoa for me. Look, I would love if you were to get Jason Momoa for me. That poor man's going to put a restraining order against me. He should restrain me to him. I should be restrained from leaving his side. I will help him wash his back. But that is going down a different path, not this conversation. So I already know that when it comes to taxes, people have issues. And the taxes have to do, you need to know, are they paid or they not paid? That's going to be your questions. Are the taxes prepaid? Or are they not paid? They're going to be paid later. And the easiest way to say this is if the taxes have been prepaid, it will be a seller credit and a buyer debit. If they're prepaid, that means the seller paid for everything. The buyer needs to be reimbursed. And if they're not paid in advance, it's going to be a buyer credit. Get my brain to work here. And a seller debit. Boom. So those are the big ones. Caroline, are there not Caroline, Miss Stacy, are there any other ones that you know when you see on this test, you're like, I can't remember who pays it and why. These are the big ones for the most part. Are there any other ones you can think of?
No, the biggest was I didn't realize the earnest money was a buyer's credit. I kept thinking it was a debit because they were paying it to them.
That's the one a lot of people get wrong. And they
Yeah,
did pay it to them, but earlier. Now they're getting it back.
gotcha.
Mhm.
That helps.
Good, 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 good. And then you said the other thing, you said it was debits and credits, and what was the other thing?
It was just math, like meals or like the time, like you do the math of the year, they pay this amount, and then yeah,
Prorations.
yeah,
Okay,
that.
so let's do a mills problem. Let me make one up really quick. Do. So let's say the tax rate is, I don't know, 20 mils. It's pretty high, but it says 20 mils. And let's say the assessed value is going to be $899,000. Okay. That's a little high. I don't want to have numbers that big. Am I trying to do numbers that big? Let's do the assessed value is $499. Whenever you see mills, just think of a singular one, mill. And we know we're going to think of the number 1,000. Because when we see that mill, we're going to divide something by 1,000. So really what it would look like is, and you think mill, I want you to think divide something by 1,000. So in this case, and the way I like to do it is I'd like to take the $499. I'm going to divide it by 1,000 because that's the rule. And then I multiply it by whatever this number is. So I would take the 499,000. I would divide it by 1,000. So that's going to give me 499. And then I'm going to multiply it by 20. So 499 times 20 means I would have annual taxes of $9,980. Does that make sense, Miss Stacy?
Yes, that helps a lot.
Good.
Knowing exactly how to do it now. Thank you.
Yep. Just divide something by 1,000. Now, the other thing you said you had issues with is, well, how do we prorate that? So let's say, this is the next problem, they said, how to prorate this. Well, what we need to know is a couple of things. First, we need to know when it's closing. And the second thing we need to know is, are the taxes paid? So let's say the closing is set for August 19th. And then we say, are the taxes prepaid? Let's say, no, they are not prepaid. They're going to be paid later by the buyer. Now remember, our taxes are a specific lien. And that means the taxes follow whoever owns the house, which means if they're being paid later, it's the buyer who's going to have to pay the entire tax bill. That's whose name is going to be, oh, this property owes us money. Whoever the owner is going to, write a check for the property owner. So what would I do? I would say, okay, well, if there's a closing August 19th, if this is 1/1 and this is 12/31, we know that taxes are just done on a 365-day year. Generally on the national side, it doesn't matter when your state's taxes are. They're going to probably base it on a 360 or 365-day year. So let's say this is 2026. All right, it's 2026. If closing is on August 19th, sorry, and taxes, let's say taxes are due November 30th. Well, on that taxes due day, the the new owner, the buyer, is responsible for all $9,000. They only moved in. They only moved in from here to here. I mean, you're paying for the taxes between August 19th and the 31st, but they're paying for the whole year, even though they moved in from this part. So what would be fair if you're the buyer? Should you have to pay the taxes from January 1st to August 19th when it wasn't even your house? That sounds like some bull. So what are we going to do? We're going to figure out how many days that is. We're going to figure out, okay, look, seller, you seriously, pick a new color. You seriously need to compensate me for all these days. Compensate the buyer for all of these days, and that money is going to go to the buyer on the 19th, and then they'll have it to pay in full on the 30th. So first, before we go any further, that makes sense, Miss Stacy.
Yes, it sure does. Thank you.
Cool. And then how would I prorate it? Very easily. I'm going to take my tax bill, and let's pretend like it's a 365-day year. I'm going to take my 9,980 divided by 365. And that would be 980 divided by 365 is 27 and 34 cents a day. So we've got to know how many days between January 1st through, I'll just do August. That doesn't look like August. Boop, boop. 19th. Now I'm going to say that the seller gets the day of closing just to make sense. So I know we got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, then August. Well, in August, the seller's responsible for 19 days. July has 31 days. June has 30 days. May has 31 days. April has 30. March has 31. February has 28, and January has 31. We just need to add up all those days together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 31 times 4 equals 124. This is me just doing math a different way. Then I need the even numbers. That's going to be 28, 30, and 30. So $88, 28, 30, yep, 30, 30, 28. So that's going to be 88. Damn sure. And then we got the 19 days here. So 124 plus 88 plus 19 is going to be 231, 231 days. So this seller needs to give 231 days of taxes to that buyer. So I would take that 231 and I'd multiply it by 27.34. That sounds like an 8-4, but let's fix that. So 231 times 27.31 equals 6,308 and 61 cents. I'm assuming because we just made that off the top of our head. But boom, that's our answer. How does that feel, Miss Stacy?
Yes, that helps a lot.
All right. Now I know it's usually time for me to go, but is there anything else you need me to go over? Because I want you to feel so comfortable. I know it hopefully helps that, Caroline said you're prepared and I've gone over stuff, but is there anything else I can go over for you?
I think I pretty much got everything because I'm on my second year. So I really think it was like it clicked with the vocabulary. It's not learning the definition, it's understanding that definition, understanding what the word means. And now that's where I am. So I think I'm going to do real well on this test.
I know you are. I have all the faith in the world for you, ma'am. And even I already know you are, but just in case I'm wrong, which doesn't happen a lot, let me just, I was telling my baby cousins that yesterday. I'm usually right. Even if I was wrong, you would just come back and you're just gonna find out what you need to know.
Exactly.
That's all that is. It's just telling us, okay, Candace, we are going to come back. Not that this is going to happen, but in a dream world, if it happened, you come back and say, Candace, here's what we need to go over some more. And I would simply go over it with you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Oh, and Rosalind says you got it. So, guys, I will be back on Wednesday. Woohoo! Hopefully, we'll have some great news for Stacy. I know we got through all these questions, and so I've got some more on deck for us to go over. Plus, I'm going to take last Tuesday's meeting about when I went over the finance chapter really quick within that hour. She said that was helpful. She said that 5-hour review was helpful. So do what you all need to do. In fact, you can do whatever it is you want to do as long as you don't get caught. That's my general, theory in life. Otherwise, if you need me, reach out to me and I will talk to everybody soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
Candace.
you.
You
Bye.
got this,
Congratulations,
Stacy.
Caroline.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Jiggle,
Thank you.
folds. I like to see
Yeah,
All right,
congratulations.